We are back.
Still trying to figure out the audio. I can't figure it out. Still haven't uploaded any videos, so I can't check it on YouTube.
Don't tell them that. Destroy the
Destroy
the
what?
magic.
Magic.
The YouTube
Just
magic.
because I haven't gone and edited any.
We are very
Scuffed.
like baby beginners in terms of videos.
I mean, I've done my fair share of videos.
Yeah. And let's get back into Battler and where they're at.
Oh, you had me like reminiscing.
You can reminisce, but nobody can actually see you reminiscing. That's the thing.
I was visually reminiscing
so
there.
many silences when you're like, I could just see like your face and what's going on.
If
like,
I'm silent,
nobody's gonna be able to see that.
If I'm silent, just know that I'm looking up at the sky and I've got my hand on my chin. I'm just thinking, remembering the past. I'm actually doing it right now. I need to stop. So, what just happened was we had a skirmish, they called it.
That's right.
Between Battler Beatrice.
Yes, and she resigned, so I guess it's like 1 point to Battler, but he was being all noble. He's getting very attached, I think, to Beatrice. I don't like... Is this going to end up being a Stockholm Syndrome situation?
Who knows? We've got Maria and Rosa in there, so it could be.
Okay, well, let's see where this
Although
goes.
that's not really Stockholm, is it?
What do you mean?
It's mother and daughter. Just abusive mother and annoying daughter.
But they're not trapped with Beatrice. Are they?
In a way, you could say they are.
But how come we haven't seen them? Your hair and your eyes really annoy me.
Like... Well, at the end of the second episode, in the tea party,
Yeah.
we had Beatrice feeding Rosa.
Feeding Rosa. Yeah.
The banquet.
Wait, feeding Rosa. Her daughter?
She fed her, like...
The siblings.
The siblings
Yeah.
and their daughter, yeah. All the people who caused her strife, essentially.
Ugh.
Apart from the man who left her, didn't feed her that.
Yeah, how come we don't hear about her husband?
It's just... I don't know.
Is it something that happens, or...
Who knows?
They, like, briefly touched on it at the beginning, didn't they?
They've definitely mentioned it. I think they, like, brought it up in an argument. Someone did, probably Ava.
Does it make her come out as, like, the failure of the family? Because this is in the, like...
They can all come out as the failures of the family. Like, they all have parts where, like, Kinzo has, like, spoken his disdain towards them in some manner. Like, Ava had the whole, like, she's a woman, she can't succeed the head, so she's like, oh, it's useless, it's all useless. And then there's Kraus. Although Kraus, he kind of didn't really take any care for that, because he was just like, yeah, I'm going to be the head anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter what I do. I think Rudolph... I'm not too sure. Rosa said that he would give her punishment equal to 2. Like when Kraus wasn't there and she didn't get bullied by him, and when Ava wasn't there,
he would,
when she wasn't
like,
manipulating
make up
her,
for the...
he would, yeah, give her two people's worth of bullying. So I don't really know how he sees the headship. He probably doesn't care too much. I think the main people who care about the headship would be Kraus and Ava, probably.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Rudolph and Rosa, I think they speak out. They're just like, oh, we just want the money, essentially.
Okay. Kind of get it. Yeah.
That's just going off of what I recall, personally. I don't know if it's right or not, but... Anyway, we've been going on for a long time. When being besieged, your true enemy isn't so much the fear of an unseen culprit, as it is keeping such fears alive for long periods of time. Well, finally.
It's been a long time since we've seen Maria.
Maria got bored and started complaining that she wanted to watch TV. There was no TV in the lobby, so she decided to return to the cousin room on the second floor.
Have they cleaned up the bodies, though?
No, they wouldn't have cleaned them up.
Does that mean she's going to run into a crime scene?
No, they're in the guest house.
Ah.
The guest house, there's no crimes. Remember, they stayed in the guest house because it was a smaller
Oh,
building.
true, because the mansion was, too much.
Big, yeah.
Too much possibility of the unknown.
The adults probably wanted to make sure Maria wasn't left on her own. They told all the children to go to the second floor cousin room. George, who was grief-stricken by the loss of his fiancée, led the cousins up to the second floor without any resistance. At first, Najo had been reading a book in the lobby, but when he noticed the relatives looking like they wanted to discuss something sinister, he said,
It seems I am in the way.
And returned to his room on the second floor. I'm starving, and if we just keep sitting around, we'll get sleepy too. It's only natural. We didn't get any sleep last night, at all. We will probably end up being barricaded here for a full 24 hours. It may be wiser to take naps in turn instead of overstressing ourselves.
True, my husband and I will remain here, so I ask that anyone having trouble staying awake take it easy and rest. Our opponent might be expecting that, right? Even if they couldn't defeat this many people, if that number of strikes shrinks enough, they may plan to use that moment to strike.
It's funny how, like, almost every time Natsuhi comes up, Ava's the next person to speak.
Yeah, which
Just
is
like...
really confusing for my voice there.
Just like, by the way, this. Just having a
There
snap.
are 7 of us here, so we could take 3-hour shifts in pairs. Tomorrow morning's a long way off. We still have some energy now, but tonight's going to be tough.
Sure will. Anyone sleepy? Don't overdo it and get some rest.
He'd usually looked around at everyone to see who wanted to sleep first, but no one volunteered. Everyone was just as tired, but no one was bold enough to go to sleep right away. Their fear of the unknown culprit was just as strong as their sleepiness.
Nobody? Well, don't overdo it, everyone.
Is that involuntary? If we get tired, we'll deal with it then. I'll admit I'm sleepy, but I'm not in the mood now.
As Ava spoke sharply, she reread the second letter from Beatrice, which had been found in the boiler room. Beatrice had sent them 2 letters, which had repeatedly told them to solve the riddle of the epitaph. And she'd even provoked them by saying she'd give up her assets and the headship if they could solve it. Ava took out a notebook and opened it to a page with the epitaph copied onto it.
Is this that epitaph? Yes, I hate doing what the culprit says, but we do have time to waste. I think it's the perfect way to stave off boredom.
Not a bad way to kill time. Why don't we challenge it together as siblings?
Can I borrow that? I'll rewrite it just a little larger. Natsuhi-san, do you have a slightly larger piece of paper? There should be paper in the servant room. I will bring some.
I always thought her name was Natsushi until I reread it last year.
There's no 2 though,
Huh?
in Japanese.
Natsushi. She.
Yeah.
What do you mean 2?
Well, I thought you had mixed the S around with the U and was saying
I did, but I
Natsu
thought there was
she.
an extra S in there.
Yeah. No, because I was like, well, there's no 2 in Japanese. It's Su, Chi, and Su.
Chitachitsu. Natsu. She immediately brought a blank B4 sheet of paper from the servant room. Kirie borrowed Ava's notebook, wrote out the epitaph onto the paper, and laid it out on the table. Then everyone quickly peered down at it. They automatically formed a crowd.
I've heard about it. But really, this is a tough riddle. I don't have a clue what it's talking about.
I forgot how to do his voice, honestly. At one point, I also did my best to solve it, but I was just as clueless. If you did know, you wouldn't have come all the way out here with a plan to take money. Or make money, same thing. After all, it's 10 tons worth of gold we're talking about.
This is the first time I've read through it seriously, but roughly speaking, couldn't it be split into 3 parts?
I've been thinking this since last night, but you really are a good thinker, Kirie-san. Perhaps you'll be able to easily solve this riddle that we couldn't.
Or maybe it'll make her a target.
Who knows?
She'll be the first to go.
We've already had 6 deaths. She can't be
True.
the first.
Yeah, no. First sibling?
She's not a sibling.
Even better for them.
She's a wife of a sibling. Yeah, Kirie is sharp. She might find a more interesting take on it if she comes in without any confusing biases.
I read that as babies.
So did I, actually.
That's right. Kirie-san, would you mind giving us your honest opinion after reading the epitaph? I doubt you'll find it useful. You all give me too much credit.
That's fine. Just say whatever comes into your head. Let's hear your thoughts. The hints you give always help me out when I'm worried.
Oh, so I have been helpful. It's nice to finally hear about this now.
Come on, don't I always thank you? You two sure are close. I'm jealous.
And the rest of us would also love to hear these hints of yours. We're just killing time anyway, so relax, okay?
Kirie was disturbed at being praised so highly for something so strange. But they had all the time in the world. Realizing that this was just a way to waste time, she decided to accept the role she'd been given.
Something is suspicious here. I'm sure I'll say something off the mark, but, well, I'll put forward my ideas.
Indeed. What did you mean in the beginning about how it could be divided into 3 parts, roughly speaking?
Oh, I thought I had to read that. Well, I just mean what I said. I think that overall the epitaph can be divided into 3 sections. First, there are 5 lines up until "There sleeps the key to the gold." Up until this point is the first part, which directs you to the location of the key. And then there's the part formed by the 11 lines up until the 10th twilight, which refer to the location of the Golden Land itself. And the remaining 6 lines make up the part after the Golden Land has been reached.
Yay.
Wait, what is this? A hint now?
This just means we can read the epitaph whenever we want.
I see. It can be divided into 3 parts about the key, the Golden Land, and the Golden Land's treasure.
Even we have been able to grasp that much. The 3 sections that refer to the key, the door, and the treasure.
Nissan, don't butt in any more than you have to. Let Kirie speak her ideas freely.
Kirie, please continue. We see it the same way you do so far. So then?
I wonder about the meaning of that thing in the beginning, the beloved hometown. Normally that would refer to where grandfather lived, right? Since father went to all the trouble of telling us that it's beloved, we can imagine that it's a hometown he had strong feelings for. Did father come from Odawara?
Odawara was definitely where he was born, but I don't think that's the hometown he loved. I imagine all of us siblings have the same place in mind.
Right? This probably isn't Odawara. From what I've heard, he had a very fun time as a youth.
Being made the Ushiomiya family head was probably Dad's greatest bit of misfortune in life.
Probably.
He's probably right. Probably. Father didn't actually want to become the head.
So, where is this place? Is there a river where the sweet fish swim? Maybe there was at the time. There's been a lot of development there since then, and the sweet fish might have disappeared. It would be extremely difficult to investigate whether sweet fish were there during grandfather's boyhood years.
Do you want to quickly just read over the epitaph again? Why is it skipping? I'll just go through this line quickly. And there probably isn't just a single river. I believe we all gave this a thorough investigation geographically. You even went to the actual place to investigate directly, right, Ava? We're back after cleaning poo.
Zero context. The cat. The cat stinks.
Right, we were going to check the
Epitaph. So,
It'd be Kinzo speaking here. I'm not gonna read it in his voice. He's dead, he can stay dead.
behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of a key. So, it's downstream. Wait, is the golden land downstream, or is the key? Well, you're searching for
If
the
you're
key.
if you're searching for the golden land, you follow the path downstream in search of the key. So you're looking for a key to get into the golden land.
As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of.
And
To-
there sleeps the key to the golden land.
To who?
Yeah, to who? To what?
To what? The one who obtains the key must then travel to the golden land in accordance with these rules. On the first twilight, so then that's the ceremony
Mhm.
of
This
sacrifices.
is all the
But it doesn't-
sacrifices.
Doesn't that mean that? Why? Okay, here's the thing. Why are you looking for it, like the key, during when the sacrifices are? It sounds like you have to have the key, then do the sacrifices, then you go to the golden land. What is the time frame of the epitaph?
Well, maybe the epitaph was put up like I don't know how many years ago, but it's like
But in terms of like what order things need to be done, because this is fairly simple with like 1, 2, 3, 4, but
who knows? It's cryptic, isn't it? So we've got first twilight, 6 chosen sacrifices. It says the 6 chosen by the key is sacrifices, and the second those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close.
So does that mean the key is Beatrice? No, we don't know because she doesn't even know, does she?
Know what?
Who the sacrifices are going to be.
Well, she says it's like a roulette of fate, I think is her words. Maybe Kinzo's, but I guess she does it on whims.
So would that make Beatrice is then the key for the golden land?
I don't know. I definitely know. I'm not telling
Ah, speculation.
you. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. Fifth, gouge the chest. Sixth, gouge the stomach. Seventh, gouge the knee. Eighth, leg. Ninth, the witch shall revive and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight at journey's end you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures once and for the last time. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be the gold from the Golden Land, resurrection of all the dead souls, resurrection of the love that was lost, and to put this witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch Beatrice.
So then Beatrice dies.
Sleeps.
Can also, well, you're sleeping forever. It's death, pretty much.
Yeah. No wonder.
So is this all about destroying the witch then?
Why?
What do you mean, why?
This is from Kinzo, who supposedly loves Beatrice above all else. Why would he want to supposedly kill Beatrice?
Well, if he's dead or he knows he's gonna die, maybe he, like, is that much of a controlling person that he doesn't want anyone else to have her beyond his death.
Maybe. Who knows? So, do you have any other thoughts on this epitaph?
No, they're my thoughts for now.
Alright, because we'll get more into that now, I think.
Okay.
This is Ava back.
That was only as a vacation. But the townscape has changed completely since Father's time. After all, it was caught up in that war, wasn't it? By now, even precisely locating this place Father lived in is impossible. I imagine that if Father went there himself now, even he wouldn't be able to pick out the place he'd lived anymore.
Well, after all, those guys have also gone through a remarkable recovery.
Does the part about Sweetfish River bring any place name clearly to mind?
Well, yeah. After all, they're sweetfish, right? People say they live in rivers with clean water, so there are countless rivers that might work. Any stream Dad innocently went sweetfish fishing in was probably buried by the development later. It'd be different if we had a map from before the war or a person who knew a lot about how the area was before the war, but...
It probably isn't something like that.
What do you mean?
Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land follow its path downstream in search of the key. After these 2 lines, there's a single blank line. Something is being presented with just these 2 lines. What if the next 3 lines continued based upon that something?
What do you mean? Something is being presented?
I don't know. At any rate, what we can get from these 2 lines alone isn't something vague, like the question of which river it might be, but the clear presentation of the keyword river. It may be that this isn't a river with water flowing down it. The Sweetfish River might be some kind of metaphor. What sort of impressions does the word sweetfish give?
Sweetfish are like salmon. They're freshwater fish, but they go out into the ocean right after they're born. When they get big, they go back to the river and live there. And then they spawn there and end their lives there. Well, they leave their home at one point, but when they get big, they come back and lay eggs. Might be able to link that to the idea of clan prosperity.
Oh, they're freshwater fish, but they can live in the ocean. I didn't know that. I figured river fish wouldn't be able to live in the sea.
And they are called sweetfish because they have a pleasant aroma. I have never eaten one, but I have heard that they can be quite delicious when grilled with salt. That's most fish, Nazi.
What's that, Nazi-san? You've never eaten a salt-grilled sweetfish? They're delicious. You should try it sometime soon.
It is a food for commoners.
Of course.
Hardly appropriate for your mouth. This is just my wild idea, but the impression I got from a sweetfish river makes me suspect a family tree. The sweetfish go out into the ocean for a time, but they return to the river where they were born to spawn, right? It reminds me of myself.
You're right. By this point, I can confess that I've sometimes suspected that it refers to you and Marie-chan. You're both fish.
I see. As you travel down the river, you will see a village. If you go down the family tree, all you find is Maria's name.
Is there machi in the... There's no machi in the kanji.
Isn't that one?
Uh...
Michi? Machi? I can't remember. I just remember I've studied that one in school and it means like road or something.
What's the last kanji again?
The last one is... I don't know. It's like they mentioned it before. Like
What's her name in Japanese?
Maria has this kanji in her name. That
But-
last one.
But what is it doesn't translate to like not translate, but it doesn't.
Her name is Maria.
And the kanji is Maria.
It's a made-up one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Well, like the kanji probably exists. It's just the name Maria. It's like trying to Japanize a Western name.
Let me just get the Denshiji show and look up the kanji from. Actually,
here we
Google might be quicker.
Only her name has a kanji. Read Ri or Sato. The character father uses for village here.
No, let me find the kanji. Come on, Google. Why is everything being so slow?
You probably find it, and then like in the next line they'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah, that'll be right. Okay.
Right? Yeah. It's a lot easier.
I've given you my dictionaries too. I'm pretty sure they're sitting on the floor.
No. Here, I'm pretty sure if you just use a scanner or something, it'll be what?
Machi. Japanese. Meaning. Yeah, there we go. Machi is the, what is that, like the rice field kanji with the J? Oh my goodness.
I'm more familiar with
There's
the one
other
they're
one.
using.
Machi. Hang on.
It could be using like kunyomi, so...
Town. Japanese meaning. Machi.
Why don't you type in, yeah, never mind. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna
wait.
do this.
What program are you using for that? So, Decky's currently scanning with his phone.
Yeah, just trying to get it right. It's hard. Because it picks up the English letters that I've got in the
Really?
box.
How can you, like, shorten the box?
I can just go over here and see if it gets the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, that's probably the
It
best.
probably won't, because it's Maria's name, which is...
I feel like you need to move back a little bit. Is it picking anything up?
It takes a while sometimes, or it just doesn't like to register sometimes.
Anyway, you've come back to me. Town. Machi Ocho is... Okay, no, here we go. So, this kanji is shown up in the end of birthplace or hometown. So maybe that's where Sato is village. Oh, true, because the translation is village. Oh, I feel silly now. But it's also, look, Kyori is birthplace or hometown as well.
There's...
So it's the. So it must be the... Wait, is that the kanji for all of... Is it Maria? All the kanji bits.
Oh,
it must be, yeah.
That would be it, yeah, the... I was just looking Sato reading. I didn't register that it was re, even though it says it right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be... Then that would be Maria.
If you had a mouse, you could point that out, but, yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
Oh, you do have a mouse!
I do have a mouse, I just didn't turn it on to be picking up. But yeah. Everyone knows this already, probably. Isn't that right? But as you all know, Father doesn't like Maria,
Oh, so harsh.
and he almost never speaks with her. And in the past, Father told me to give Maria a completely different name. I just decided to go with Maria on my own. Father was very mad about that. Given that, it's very hard to imagine that he would reference Maria's name in his precious epitaph about who would succeed his wealth and inheritance.
Have you ever let Maria-chan read the epitaph?
Yes, of course. But she seemed to have no idea what the answer was. She didn't have a clue, and she kept going on about how that same occult stuff, about how it was a resurrection ceremony for the witch. A connection between Father and Maria. Certainly, they do share that occult hobby, but they never interacted. I can't imagine it that refers to the Maria either. Just remember also, like, Beatrice is asking them, she's, like, egging them on to solve the epitaph. And if at the end of the epitaph it's, like, puts the witch to sleep, like, why would she want to do that?
You've countered my question
Counted
argument.
your counter.
What sticks out to me is how he went out of his way to add beloved to that first line. Like you all said just now, If father was reluctant about becoming the Ushiramiya family head, would he have fond memories for anything connected to that? I don't think this could be Odawara, which represents the Ushiramiya head family. I believe this word beloved here at the beginning must refer to a place full of very important memories to father.
Well, that's fine. It would be hard to pinpoint since we don't have even a trace of a map from that time. But at any rate, there were probably several rivers with sweetfish
We're
swimming
still on
in
the
them
sweetfish!
near Dad's hometown during his youth.
That's if we're looking for a river with water flowing down it, right? And then, go on, Kirie-san. I don't really understand the 3 lines starting with, as you travel down it, you will see a village. It's probably linked to the 2 lines about the Sweetfish River. I imagine it's something we'd understand automatically if we knew what the Sweetfish River really was. Until we figure that out, it's probably useless to try and solve those 3 lines any further. I can't hear useless in this game anymore without
It's
Battler being
useless.
like, it's useless, it's
It's all
useless, it's
useless."
all useless.
It's Dameda, Zen Dameda. That's his Japanese. So we're stuck unless we know what the Sweetfish River really is. And there's no guarantee it even means a literal river. Seriously, what's up with the sweetfish?
I want to know that too.
Did Dad like to eat them? Or does it have some special meaning? Is it pointless to read too deeply into it? I kind of want to eat one, even though
Yeah, I
don't
want
like
to try
fish.
one too. I'm like, oh, sweet fish, sounds nice. If you don't have both a micro and a macro perspective, your field of vision grows narrow. It might be better to be flexible and avoid thinking too deeply. Focus on an abstract image of a river where fish swim or something that can flow up or down.
Then the answer behind the Sweetfish River passes through the next 3 lines and makes its way to the key to the Golden Land.
If you think about it this way, I wonder if it was a mistake to split it into 3 parts. There's actually 4 parts. Go down the Sweetfish River, find the key to the Golden Land, journey to the Golden Land, and the treasure of the Golden Land.
Truly intriguing. Well, you've gone this far. Would you mind continuing and telling us your opinion on the most central portion of the epitaph? Up to the point when we reach the Golden Land on the 10th twilight. That's the most symbolic and also the most disturbing part.
Since the word sacrifices keeps coming up, I can't help but think it has something to do with father's occult ceremonies. How do you see it, Kirie-san?
Kyrie recrossed her arms several times, peering into the paper with the epitaph, copied onto it as though she was looking through it.
This is very difficult. It starts with the one who obtains the key, so you probably won't be able to continue without knowing what that key means. I'll have to give up on that, but I'll take a shot at trying to solve it anyway. Just like how the Sweetfish River isn't necessarily a river with water flowing down it, it's also doubtful that this key is actually something shaped like a key.
I'd say Ava.
Right? It might also be a code or a keyword. After all, this key isn't something to be stuck into a keyhole. It's something that selects 6 people to be sacrifices for the first twilight.
Actually, it's probably Kyrie.
Oh my goodness. In that sense, we can say for sure that this key isn't being used to open the door to the Golden Land. But what a disturbing key it is! A key that could choose 6 human sacrifices.
How would a key select anything? Do you spin it like a roulette?
Roulette?
This key indicates a certain group of 6 people. No, we should say it indicates a certain group of 6 things. If this doesn't mean a literal command to offer sacrifices, for example, it could be an anagram.
An anagram? Do you mean playing with letters?
Yes. I've been thinking about it ever since Rosa started talking about the family tree, and about how village was a part of Maria-chan's name.
Quick thinking.
It seems that ever since the words beloved hometown came up, Rudolf-san, for example, has assumed that this epitaph points to some coordinates or some other geographical feature, but that might not be the case. This could be some kind of puzzle, or maybe playing with letters. Forgive me, but how does one play with letters?
Oh, well. It's like... Sucker my merry balls. Barrel. I said it. What? Okay. Let me do that again.
Do it properly.
Oh, well, it's like... Sucker my merry barrels.
No, there's no my there. Do it
I
again.
just keep reading it how it's like supposed to sound. Sucker merry barrels. What do you get when you take out the E's and R's like that? Well, you were raised well, Nasi, so you probably don't know.
Mary? Take out the E's and R's, huh?
Stop it. It is an undignified game, inappropriate for you. Only Nasi didn't get it and had a blank look on her face. It seemed she'd only guessed that the answer had to be something undignified, going by Rudolph and Ava's sniggers. Nasi's...
Oh no,
Rosa.
Rosa, no.
It's something like this.
No, Rosa.
This is just something from Maria's book of riddles, okay? There's this thing called a tanuki notebook. It's a notebook written like a code, with a lot of tars mixed in. And if you remove all of the tars, then the true paragraph pops up. It's a game like that.
Oh, I see.
Natsu finally realized the answer to the undignified riddle Rudolph had posed, and her face grew red as she hung her head in embarrassment.
Ugh.
Shut up, Natsu.
So maybe kill actually means remove in that sense, right?
Probably.
Go to the next part. This doesn't help.
Just go over.
Yes, I also thought that it's possible that the key to the Golden Land is a word with 6 characters. In other words, the tar from the Tanuki notebook is actually 6 characters here. This is getting complicated.
This does not help. We need pictures. Tell us who's talking.
Playing with letters, is it? Maybe that's what is this?
Probably Rudolph.
No,
Kraus.
Hideyoshi?
Nah, he'd have like slang if it was him. I'd say it's Rudolph. Or Kraus. Let's go Kraus.
Okay.
Playing with letters, is it? In Japan, it really feels like a child's game, but it's apparently a stylish form of humor among intellectuals in the English world. It is easy to imagine that father was interested in it.
I've never heard of that unless they're talking about pigeon. Oh,
What do you
I
mean?
thought that was Tom. Playing with letters, like, in terms of like language. Did you ever hear of that, like, ilbish? I could never understand it, I could never do it, but that's what it sounded like to me.
No.
Like, you put sounds on, like, all the words, or you take the end off one word and put it on the beginning of another word. So it's English, but it's like a distorted form of English. I don't know, that's what that came to mind when that's what I thought.
I've never heard of that one. Let's go Kidio.
But by this point, I quickly lose my ability to understand it. Up until this part, it may have been filled with mysteries, but it was extremely sequential. Sweetfish River, go down it, then find the key. All of that is extremely sequential, and as a result, we can guess that we gain a 6-character key. But in that case, we now don't know what we kill the 6 characters from. That's right. Where do we pull the 6 characters from? It doesn't tell us.
That helps so much.
On the second twilight, there are those who remain, which means that, at the very least, that something has a limited number of characters. You could read it like it's telling you to continue with the remaining characters after the first 6 characters are removed. And yet, we don't know what this something is, even though it should have been shown to us at the beginning. Are we wrong even in our assumption that this is playing with letters?
Everyone crossed their arms and fell silent. It felt like they were about to reach a novel understanding they hadn't managed before. But they stumbled just one step short.
Oh, I feel the same.
Then Hideyoshi's stomach rumbled heartily.
Sounded like it bounced.
That's a rumble there. That silence was broken by laughter.
Sorry. Strangely enough, by spinning the gears in my head for a change, my stomach's gone completely empty.
I've changed his voice so many times.
Looks like I can't stand missing breakfast.
Natsuhi, isn't there anything to eat here?
Oh my goodness. There should be at least be enough set aside for breakfast. I will prepare it.
Go call Goda. Oh, wait. I'm also starving. And I'll bet those brats above us are the same. Still, I doubt there's enough for 18 people. Much less a full 3 meals, right?
That's right. It'll be a long journey till tomorrow. Maybe we better take a trip back to the mansion and fish around for some canned food or something in the kitchen.
There's nothing more than crackers and snacks here, but if that will be sufficient, I can get them ready for you all. But with this many people, there might not be any left for lunch.
That will do for now. Would you mind getting those ready? It looked like the men had been taken over with an appetite that stopped all thought. The atmosphere grew more peaceful, and the Epitaph investigation team split up for the time being. But Ava kept staring at the paper the epitaph was written on, like she was going to burn a hole through it.
Playing around with letters was nothing more than a theory of mine. There's a chance it's mistaken. Ava-san, don't take it too seriously, okay? Thank you. I'll just keep doing this on my own. Would you mind leaving me alone? Go away!
Ava spoke coldly. Kirie didn't bother her anymore, and instead went to help Natsuhi prepare breakfast. Nia-san, shouldn't we also help prepare breakfast?
Then you go help. I'm busy solving this.
Sorry. Then I'll help.
Good grief. How can you be like that?
Huh?
The Ushirimiya family headship will be given to the person who solves this epitaph. It looks like you've given up from the beginning, as if it has nothing to do with you. But if you can solve it, there's a chance even you'll be able to receive the headship. This is the chance to steal everything from Nissan. Why aren't you taking such a once-in-a-lifetime chance more seriously?
Rosa hung her head, unsure as to how she should answer. Too late. She regretted carelessly speaking to her sister when she was in a bad mood.
If you've noticed anything, say so. Even though Kirie-san and I were thinking hard, you just kept nodding your head, didn't you? Come on. Isn't there anything you've noticed? Come on.
Don't you think this part's strange?
Strange? What is it?
It's just that this whole section's written like a journey to the Golden Land, right? You reach the Golden Land and then you receive its treasures.
What's your point? You think there's some sort of keyword tied to those treasures?
No, not the treasures themselves. Look, in the 10th Twilight, isn't how you receive the treasures strange?
Huh? Ah.
Why does it say we'll receive the treasures once and for the last time? If we only get them once, then there's no point telling us it's the last time. And the same thing in reverse. But I'm probably splitting hairs over nothing, if you think about it. This is Father we're talking about, after all. He probably just said it that way to make it sound more dramatic. Purple milkshake.
Boo! Boring. Oh, what is boring? Boring. My, what on earth is this child grumbling about?
She's probably annoyed by all the tips you gave Battler-sama, madame.
Not really. That doesn't annoy me. On the contrary, I'm happy to see that useless battler finally reach a level where he can match me. Did Battler-kun and I get a little too close? Perhaps as old fogies had best leave you young'uns alone.
When Virgilia and Renove giggled and cackled, Beatrice's irritation meter finally reached its limit.
Gah, enough with everyone laughing at me! Run away, vanish for a while, disappear, disappear!
Certainly. Then I shall rest for the time being. Ronave bowed his head, still laughing, and vanished. After that, all that remained was the grumpy and irritated figure of Beatrice, and Virgilia, who was coolly enjoying her tea.
When you said there are no more than 18 people on this island, you actually cornered yourself. I knew it! I did have this feeling it might be a bit too early. I suppose that was right after all, wasn't it? If you had led him further astray first, things might have been different. But as it was, that trump card was a real waste. You ended up rousing him instead.
In addition to denying the witch, Battler had possessed a second victory condition, one of explaining everything without suspecting one of the 18. Oh my, it was not me.
Too fast!
It was at that point, when he'd been tossed about by two opposing goals, that his heart should have been at its weakest. However, Beatrice had used the red carelessly, proclaiming that there were no more than 18 people. Because of that, Battler had been forced to suspect one of the 18. And he had finally begun to build up the resolve he needed to accept that. Battler was stubborn, but that was exactly why fissures would run all through him, like breaking china when he was struck in a fragile spot. That itself should have been his greatest weak point, but...
Did I get a little too careless after my complete victory last time? Yes, you were too careless. The last game was a difficult one for Batlakun, but it seems this game will become a difficult one for you. A broken vase will never return to its original form, so it would be more constructive to think of a next move rather than regretfully picking up the pieces. However, now that Battler has figured out as much as he has, how should I plot against him? Ho 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 ho! Your troubled face is an even better snack than Ronave's cookies. Ooh, you and Battler and even Ronave are treating me like sweets now, even though I'm not sweet at all.
With a shameful childlike face that she would never have shown in front of Battler, Beatrice rolled her head around on top of the table.
Teacher, at least give me a hint. Oh, what kind of hint? If you know some really good move that'll leave Battler speechless and make him want to accept me, I won't ask you to say it outright, so, even if it's just a hint. I can't. I am on Batlakun's side right now, so I couldn't teach you something that would give you an advantage. Come on, don't be stingy. Your disciple's in trouble, right? I seem to remember you brazenly boasting that you had surpassed your teacher. Ooh, please, act like an old person and give me just a bit of your crafty ideas. Please, it's mean if you only help Battler. My, you're still a spoiled child. But it's true that I may have given Batlakun a few too many hints. It did serve as a scolding to you, but perhaps it was a little too much support for a fair game. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Please, teacher, at least just a hint now. This is only a hint. Think about what it means by yourself, okay? Yeah, I'll think about it myself, so please, give me one that'll leave Battler down in the dumps, teacher.
Considering how she acted like a great and mighty witch in front of Battler, the way she acted when he wasn't around was truly pathetic. Virgilia sighed at how childish Beato still was, despite all the time that had passed.
Then just a hint. Do you know of Aesop's fable, The North Wind and the Sun? Of course. It's a story about how the North Wind and the Sun challenged each other to see who can steal the cloak of a traveller, right? That's right. Violent, impatient methods aren't necessarily the best decisions in all cases. You don't have to tell me that. I've already reflected on the mistakes I made when I was too anxious to achieve victory. Think well about what this means. And furthermore, There's one point that Battler seems to be misunderstanding a bit, but he isn't the only one. Do you understand the victory conditions of this game? What else is there other than making Battler surrender? See, you're already wrong there. How am I wrong? Your victory isn't making Battler-kun surrender. Isn't it making Battler-kun accept your existence? What's this? You want me to butter him up, begging him to accept me as a witch? How foolish! I haven't sunk that low.
Beato growled like a dog in a bad mood. Virgilia shrugged her shoulders, snickering at her disciple, who was as short-tempered as ever.
That is my hint. For the rest, you'll have to consider deeply on your own. In any event, your moves up until now will not work on Battler-kun. A significant tactical adjustment will probably be required. I don't need you to tell me that. I don't have a clue what you mean by the north wind and the sun, but at any rate I'll realize I'll have to alter my course. I'll introduce a scheme clever enough to surprise even you, teacher. Ho 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 ho. I look forward to it. I wonder how Battler-kun will tackle that. I wish you good luck as well. After Battler, you mean? Oh, we're back. Are you gonna give up and resign already? I guess you are that tired. If only you'd just grab a futon and sleep. As my mind grew vague and I pretended to fight my drowsiness while sinking deeper and deeper into the sofa, I scolded myself. You also had dreamed about stealing the position of family head from Kraus, right? Even though my magic's given you a chance, are you already throwing it away? You could say that, but this riddle is really hard. Even a wire puzzle would be better. At least in that case, you know for sure it's solvable. But in the case of this epitaph riddle, we've been given no reason to be sure of that. I might just be fighting a useless battle. Still hazy, I looked at the notebook I'd been holding the whole time. It was open to a page with the epitaph, which I must have stared at hard enough to burn holes in it, so many hundreds of nights I'd lost count. That page is truly a door. On the other side lies the Golden Land, the place I've wanted to drag myself to no matter the effort ever since I was a child, and the place I was never able to reach. Am I touching the door with both hands? With the book? No, the door right there in front of me, ready to be opened, and yet still unable to reach the other side. That's right. Your hand is already on the door. Come on, open it with all your strength, and read the characters written on the door. Open it with all my strength. Read the characters written on the door. Strain your eyes. See through to the thing beyond the epitaph written in the notebook. The beloved hometown definitely won't betray our expectations. The only past father held dear happened during his childhood years. That's right. Then what about the Sweetfish River? There are several rivers where they swim, and there's reason to doubt that this just refers to one close to the place father lived. If we take out a map and start calculating which rivers with Sweetfish were closest, things will quickly get vague and we won't be able to narrow it down. Didn't you say it yourself? You said it didn't have to be a river with water flowing down it. If the word Sweetfish is too complicated, why not forget it? Think of a river linking it with a family tree wasn't a bad idea. Try thinking about how to link a river with something else along those lines. It isn't a river. But where else could Sweetfish swim? Oh, but if we're talking about places Sweetfish can swim, then maybe the ocean has something to do with this. Didn't my husband even say that they were going out onto the ocean, even though they're river fish? To the ocean. No. But... Huh. Did you not notice? But that's just a faint memory. There's supposed to be a room for storing books in this building, right? If you investigate, you can make sure. If that's the Sweetfish River, and if the key might be a 6-character word, then could the key actually be resting in that river? I don't know. Anyway, I'll have to search it in an atlas. But even if I know that, I don't know from what I should take the 6 characters. You really don't know? Think deeply. We're pretty smart, so our ideas are solid. Don't think of it like it's something as massive as the riddle of the epitaph, but like it's a child's riddle. Men are always children, no matter how old they get. Even if father has advanced into old age. That doesn't change the fact that he's essentially a child at heart. Throw away your awe of father. Think of this like it's a worthless, infantile game with riddles, like the ones Maria suddenly brought out on the boat. Riddles. Worthless, infantile. Huh. Ah. I'm sure that was... What was it? I'm sure, if my memory isn't wrong, that it's probably the case. No, I don't have to rely on my vague memory. I should be able to figure that out immediately by searching the library. We've probably already noticed the answer. All that's left is to investigate whether it's correct or not. Come on, Ava. Let's go to the library, making sure no one sees us. There we should find a mountain of thick books that didn't fit in Father's study. I'm sure we'll find a book that answers our question. Quickly. This is the first and last chance we'll ever get to make our dreams come true.
What's happening? When Natsuhi tried to lay a blanket over her, Ava suddenly jumped up.
Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like I woke you.
You sound like female Goda. Ava, if you're sleepy, don't overdo it. You rest first.
Thank you. I'm just going to the bathroom for a bit to wash my face.
You should take it easy and rest. You're just gonna make yourself feel worse, you know?
I told you I'm fine. I'll be right back. Oh, after leaving those words behind, I rapidly left the lobby. The lobby was partitioned off by a door, so as soon as I went into the corridor, they could no longer see me.
Goes in the courtyard and just dies.
In the rain. The library was next to the servant room. Father always owned a vast book collection, but ever since he started to become engrossed with his occult hobby, that collection grew even larger, so that the normal books suitable for a normal study had been forced out as his study overflowed. This so-called library was mostly used as a storage room for those normal books. They were all thick, like complete encyclopedias for intellectuals, but that was very convenient for me now that I was investigating something. I entered softly, and just in case, I checked the room with my gun readied, making sure that there were no suspicious people in there. Then I locked it from the inside. I actually wasn't thinking that the murderer might be hiding somewhere. What scared me was the thought that one of my siblings might hear what I was investigating. She knows the answer! My heart had started racing before I realized it. I was half asleep just a moment ago, so I didn't realize how significant this thing I noticed was. But as I gradually became aware, my heart started to feel like it was about to explode. I wonder if any of the other siblings have noticed this. I don't think Kraus and Rudolph will notice, but I don't know about Kyrie. She has extraordinarily good intuition, and I don't know about Rosa either. Rosa's stupid too. She always has been, incredibly so. Really? I'd say she was wise enough to make you think she was stupid, so that she didn't earn herself unnecessary malice. Here it is. I wonder if we'll find it in this one. I pulled the book out and flipped through the pages. So this is A Sweetfish River. I see. This is what the Sweetfish River means. Don't dawdle around. Research further. Tell us what it means! Yes, I understand. As you travel down it, you will see a village. By using the character Lee, does he mean a town or something? It's just an area of dense population, so there could be any number of those. Why have you stopped thinking? Oh, is this too much work for you? If only you'd just give up. If only you'd just hand the Ushirumi headship over to Kirie. I don't want to. I will become the head. This is, my first and last chance. What is this village? What does it mean? Do you find one if you go down the river? In the village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. Kanji means shore. Get it? I understand. Sure. Right before my eyes, the pieces that I hadn't been able to understand at all began to into place all by themselves. I couldn't even remember to close my open mouth. My throat grew completely dry. Is it really okay for this to be the answer? Really? But this isn't 6 characters at all. I'm absolutely sure this is the answer, but this doesn't reach 6 characters at all. Did you stop thinking again? In that case, think of a way you could read it with 6 characters. If you can't think of one, then research it. There has to be an answer. You must not doubt that. Are they going to, split into 2 people, her, little past self and then her adult self?
Or gremlin or something.
Gremlin. Is believing in that too much for you? If only you just cry yourself to sleep and then you can just give up and die. Oh, she's so harsh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, 6 characters. I found it. This is the key to the Golden Land. Yes, this is the key to the Golden Land. The key to our childhood dreams. The only keyhole this key can be stuck in is that place. That has to be what offering the sacrifices means. I'm sure you get it by now, right?
What happened?
Oh, it was like a race.
Amazing race.
So, Ava's figured out the epitaph without giving away any information to anybody.
I wouldn't say no information.
No, to us, I mean.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Really?
There's a few things I picked up there.